What is up, guys? The new Bonnie here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a top 8 countdown of some awesome trading card game tips and tricks that I personally thought of. Now, this doesn't just have to include Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything, but I believe these are 8 tips and tricks that can help all TCG players. Now, before I go over the number 8 spot, what I do want to tell you guys is this is not a ranking system. What this simply is just 8 overall tips and tricks. So, without further ado, let's get started with this list at number 8. So, number 8 is check every pricing source. So, any of us that have any trading card game know that it is so much cheaper to go and buy singles that you need for your deck rather than going out and testing your luck on a bunch of booster packs or like even a booster box. So, what you need to be doing is checking every single source that has a price list for these cards. Now, personally, I like to use TCG Player. I just finally bought the last few cards I need for a Blackwing deck. Yeah, I'm making a Blackwing deck. I'm not too proud of it. But the main boss monster in that, the Synchro, is going to cost me only like 5 cents each. So make sure you're checking every single pricing source you have available to yourself. Maybe you want to use like Troll Toad or something else. Like I said, use TCG Player. That's my own personal. Now, don't use things like eBay or I don't know about Amazon. I've never bought anything off of there. But eBay, I've personally bought quite a few cards that have cost me almost $4 each that I could have gotten for maybe 20 cents on TCG Player. So make sure you're checking every single pricing source you have available to you. That way you can get the cheapest deals to make your deck as low budget as possible. Now, moving on to number 7 is going to be practice drawing. And no, I don't mean making a bunch of doodles of your deck or hitting up some huge chalkboard with plots and other systems, although if you want to do that, go ahead. What I mean is taking your deck after you finally built it and make sure that what you're drawing, make sure every opening hand you get is going to be something you can use. So you want to have your deck shuffled up. I'm going to give you an example right here. Take your top 5. Of course, I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I want to make sure that I've got a good opening hand every single time. This is an awesome strategy that I've never seen anyone else talk about, and I think it's just really helpful for me, especially when I'm building my decks. So, let's keep going with this thing. Going down to number 6, we have bring a drink, or beverage of any kind. So, this may seem a little bit weird, but I think it'll go for almost any trading card game, specifically Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh!, where my Yu-Gi-Oh! Matches usually last about 15 minutes, and Magic the Gathering can go anywhere from 15 to, I don't know, an hour and a half. Either way, you're going to get super thirsty, especially when it comes to tournaments and stuff, and they know you're going to do that, so they're going to jack up the prices of their liquids that they have there. Make sure you've always got a bottle of water handy on yourself or on your person. It's just super convenient for you, especially when your matches are going to last a super long time and you're going to get dehydrated. So it's a good thing to always have a refreshment near you, especially like a bottle of water, when matches are going to be lasting somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes maybe, or if you can pull off that, first turn kill, then you're good. Don't worry about it. But seriously, bring a refreshment to any tournament you go to, or even a match with friends, because you never know how long those are going to last. Anyway, just always have a refreshment on your person or with you at all times when you're playing these trading card games. Moving on down to our number 5, we have bring an extra deck box and sleeves. So, this one comes a little bit obvious, but especially at tournaments, what you want to be doing is having an extra deck box. I'll get to that one for a second, and you want to have extra sleeves. Now, the extra sleeves, of course, in case yours rip or tear, you got to have a brand new set of them with you, or otherwise you could be penalized for marking cards, and that shit will get you out of the tournament real quick, no joke. The extra deck box, maybe your deck box breaks, or specifically for me in my instance, if you go to any tournament or you go to play with your friends, typically I go to a card shop, so I might be buying packs of cards while I'm there, and then you have nowhere to put them afterwards unless you have a little bit of room, then you can just cram them into your deck box. But as long as you have an extra one with you, you can just put all of your freshly opened cards in that box, and then they're completely protected, sealed. Boom, go ahead and throw that in your backpack, you're good to go. So, it's important to always have an extra set of really anything with you, whether it be dice, a playmat even, what else would it be? Sleeves, deck box, anything. Always have that on yourself, you're going to need it. So, let's keep going with this. We are at the number 4 spot already, which is watch other deck profiles. So we all want to have our own awesome and unique deck, and it's really hard to do that, especially with the meta the way it is now. Some cards are just too overpowered, and they have to go in every single deck, but that's completely fine. What I want you to do is make sure you're going and watching every deck list that is available to you, and make sure you're watching the most current one. That way the ban list is up to date on everything. I don't know how it is for Magic or Pokemon exactly, but for Yu-Gi-Oh especially, they are hitting us up with the ban list every single month. Everything changes, and it is just terrible. So you want to make sure that you're watching everybody's deck profile. That way you can get a feel for what cards you need in your deck. Maybe you're missing out on something, or there's a card you haven't even heard of before that's going to do an amazing job in your deck, and you need to make sure you're watching that so you can add it to yours later. Either way, it's super important to just take in what everyone's doing, and if you really like what they're doing, make sure you put it into your own deck, because that will be super useful and helpful to you later to have that extra insight. So, we are at the top 3 already, you guys. So, number 3 is protect your cards. Guys, I cannot stress how important this is to you, that protecting your cards. I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. Make sure you're using stuff like top loaders, sleeves. Don't be the guy that's got your cards in an old tin and they're all just jumbled in there in a pile, because then you're going to end up like this guy. Dude, get ready for the beat down of your life. Oh. So you want to be able to protect your cards, and I'm going to go ahead and hit you guys up with a story real quick. So back in the 5Ds era, I'd say, what was that, like 2008, when I was first starting to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, when I was just a little baby Bonnie, I was walking into a Walmart with my mother after watching the show for the first time and thinking how cool it was, and we stumbled upon some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was ready to buy them. They were so epic looking, and this was back when Retro Pack 2 was in stores, and naturally, that's what I got. So, it was my very first pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards I had ever opened, and when I opened them up, what do I see? It's this beautiful purple card. I didn't know what to think of it at the time. It was just purple, and it was shiny. It had a little, like, cross-hatching sparkles going across it. I was like, this thing is so freaking gorgeous, and it's beautiful. This could be my good luck charm at school. So, me being in primary school, was it like 3rd, 4th grade, I'm going around, and I've got this thing just jammed in my pocket, because I want to keep it on me at all times. Little did I know, to this day, we figure out that that card was Dragon Master Knight from Retro Pack 2. That card is bent up and torn apart almost, and it is just completely broken. So, why would I make a big deal out of this? That card to this day would be worth $760 or so. It is worth nothing with the condition that it's in, but it does have a lot of sentimental value to me, and this is why, you guys, I want to just stress to you how important it is that you protect your cards, because you have no idea how much those could be worth. You might not know on the spot, but you also don't know what they could be worth in the future. So that card has an enormous amount of value, and that's why you guys, you need to be able to protect your cards at all time. Don't slop them in a tin. Make sure they're all tightly compact, organized together. If it's something that's got a certain rarity to it, you should probably put it in a top loader or a sleeve at the very least. So that is why protecting your cards is the most important thing on this list, probably. Now, you guys, let's go on. Number 2, trade your cards. So, I've talked about pricing guides and how important that can be. Obviously, it's very important that you look at all prices. But what about free? Free's a pretty good price, if I do say so myself. TCG, it stands for Trading Card Game. The cards are meant to be traded amongst friends and whoever else you think has pretty good cards. So, while you are looking up pricing guides, see if someone you know has the cards that you need, because odds are you're going to have something that they want too, and you guys are going to be able to trade for it. That way you're giving up something you don't really care about, and you're getting something amazing out of it that you really need to. Obviously, we can all just look up singles and get something for 5 cents nowadays. But it's super important that you just go and you make sure that you can get something out of your friend, because then it's an awesome two-way bond. And if they're getting something good out of you, they're going to want to keep coming back to you. You guys are going to keep trading. And that's kind of what can also build a friendship during these trading card game trials. So it's just something really cool to do. And you guys need to make sure you're doing, because while it may be a dead idea, trading your cards for a trading card game is still a very much living source that everybody needs to focus on. So, you guys, here we are at the number 1 spot. We have play against every deck. That one seems kind of self-explanatory, but let me go ahead and break it down for you guys for a minute. So I'm going to be using Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! As my 2 references for this. But for Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially, you want to make sure that your deck is compatible against every other deck out there. What I mean by that is play it against every single deck you can think of. Make sure that it can hold its own. Let's say I want to take my my Black Wings that I'm talking about, and I want to go up against some Spirals. Go ahead and do that, and then you're going to realize, I need to make a couple of changes to here. Let's throw these cards in there. Go up against Subterra Behemoth for whatever reason, if that's still a thing. Just play against every single deck, and even like some of the more annoying ones, like in not Yu-Gi-Oh, but in Magic, if I'm playing against a mill deck, I want to find something that is an anti-mill deck, or something that works against, helps me in my graveyard or something. But you want to make sure that you can take on any challenge and that you have the perfect deck created. It might not be able to take on every single deck that you ever faced, but you need a pretty solid deck. Something that will go against everything, that's got perfect draw power, special summoning, everything that you can possibly need that works effectively in that deck. Alright, you guys, that is going to do it for the video. I do hope you enjoyed my top 8 tips and tricks for any trading card game. If you guys have any other suggestions, or if you have any other cool tips and tricks that you want to give me to help me benefit myself, go ahead and put those down in the comments below so that everyone can see them, because I want everybody to just absorb the knowledge. This is something we all need to know. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.